Hello, welcome back to Sport on 7. I'm Tom Bushell, every week bringing you 30 minutes of sport from around the world and locally too. Chris McHardy knows what is going on, and even though last week I had to drop him for a man who was an All Black legend, Justin Marshall, he is now back on the programme to talk to me about everything local. And here we are outside once again. You might be wondering why we're continuing to brave the 35-plus degree heat. It is because we are trying to get Chris McHardy a suntan. It's still not happening. But here we are. Local sports stories we'll go through. And we'll start off with football because the opening weekend of the Pro League, Al-Akli stormed to a 6-3 victory over champions Al Ain. It looked like a bright future ahead of them for this season. However, second weekend in last Friday night, not so good for Al-Akli.
Not at all, Tom. A very good victory, it must be said, for Al Jazeera. Of course, coming into the match, having lost the Super Cup to Al Ain, a 2-1 defeat at home to Al Nassr. The pressure was on the new boss, Paulo Bonamigo, but they responded brilliantly. 2 goals, Matías Delgado, the Argentine, and Ibrahim Dayake with the goals. And as you mentioned, Al Ali came into this match. Everyone before was talking about that wonderful victory in Al Ain, but Al Jazeera proving that they're certainly not out of this title race. I know it's still very early on in the season, but it's shaping up to be a very wonderful season in Al Jazeera under Paulo Bonamigo. A very good victory, and of course Al Rashid Stadium, who turned up, the fans turned up there looking for Al Ali to kick on from that victory to Al Ain, and it wasn't to be.
And talking of Al Ain, they have their new signing actually from Asia. It's Alex Brosk, an Australian who, under 21 level back in Australia, was voted one of the most promising players in the country. He's since spent time abroad, very recently in Japan, but now he's here, and Al Ain have got him for the next season, and they hope he'll do big things for them.
Of course, Tom, and Alex Brosk, as you rightly point out, it's been a long search for this Asian player for Al Ain. A number of names have been mentioned over the past few weeks, the likes of Park Chu-young at Arsenal, as well as Yasser El-Khattani, the Saudi striker who spent last season on loan at the club. But it's Alex Brosk again, a 28-year-old. He signed a 2-year deal in the Garden City, and big things, as you rightly point out, expected of him. He's done brilliantly in Australia and in Japan with Shimizu S-Pulse. He now comes to the country, of course Lucas Neal already playing here at Al Wazl and Nick Carley at Bania, so he's in good, there's a lot of other Australians here, so he's in good company certainly. And as I say, Al Ain looking for big things. They want to retain the title as well as do well in the AFC Champions League, and they hope that Bros can form a really good partnership with Xi'an up top, and hopefully they can reach their aims for this season.
Alex Brosk, by the way, does have experience in Europe as well. He was at Feyenoord in Holland and then went out on loan to Belgium as well. So plenty of experience. Al Ain, by the way, it seems that everyone's moving there at the moment. We were out in Dubai just the other night, and everyone we met was from Al Ain down in Dubai for the weekend. You've never been there, have you?
I have not, and I have no real wish to go either. No, in all fairness, the Garden City is the name of it, and as you rightly point out, the likes of Asamoah Gyan, Brosk now there as well. It's certainly a place I will have to go and visit sooner rather than later, Tom.
And you won't be working for the Al Ain Tourist Board anytime soon. But anyway, let's move on to takeovers in football, because so many takeovers, of course, have happened from Middle Eastern countries to UK clubs. Let's talk about Nottingham Forest, taken over by a Kuwait consortium, also Abu Dhabi, of course, involved in Manchester City and the fact that they own them. But there could be one more. Leeds United, there is a Dubai connection here as well, isn't there?
There is indeed, Tom. GFH Capital. Now, for anyone in the know, they're a subsidiary of Gulf Finance House in Bahrain. It's been confirmed this week, a very protracted deal, it must be said, this Leeds United takeover. I think it was way back in June 26th, where Ken Bates, the Leeds owner, announced an exclusivity period with unknown, unidentified Middle East investors. It's now transpired that GFH Capital are looking and are leading to arrange the acquisition of Leeds Football Club. So hopefully in the coming weeks, Leeds will be the latest club under Middle Eastern ownership, and they're a big club with some untapped potential. I know Ken Bates has came in for a lot of criticism for the lack of finance that he's pumped into the club, but they're backing a solid footing, of course, in the early 2000s. A lot of debt involved with the club, but they're on that solid footing now, and hopefully in the coming weeks Leeds fans will have something to celebrate, and it will be Middle Eastern ownership.
Leeds United, of course, a real big sleeping giant of English football, much like Nottingham Forest. That's exactly how the Kuwaiti owners described that club when they took over earlier this summer. Right, more sport in the UAE, a couple of big seasons underway. First of all, motorsport, karting to get things started on Friday night.
Yes, it was indeed, Tom, and a win as well for a Dubai-based team, Amir Hassan. Great win for him at the Rotax Max Challenge down at the Dubai Kartdrome, and really, hopefully, we're in for a very good season there.
Rugby as well, obviously masses of games on the way, but it all got underway this weekend.
It did on Friday night as well, and a defeat as well for Abu Dhabi Saracens, making their debut in the UE Premiership, a 29-0 defeat rather to Dubai Hurricanes, so a chassing experience to their debut in the campaign as well. Jeremy Manning as well, the ex-Munster fly half, he had his debut for Abu Dhabi Harlequins, and a victory for him as well, a 22-17 win over Jebel Ali Dragons.
Plenty of sport to go and watch in the UAE. We'll be back with all the local stories, same time next week. Well, what a weekend of golf at Medina, and the final day, greatest day in golfing history it has been billed as. Europe's golfers produced a stunning final day comeback to win the Ryder Cup at a shell-shocked Medina. With the United States requiring only 4 points from the 12 on offer, Europe somehow secured 8.5 to clinch a historic 14.5, 13.5 win. Martin Keimer sank a 5-foot putt on the 18th green to get his team to the 14 points needed to retain the trophy before a Tiger Woods bogey in the final match gifted them overall victory. MotoGP and Danny Pedrosa kept his faint hopes of a first MotoGP championship alive with a dominant win in Aragon. Pedrosa, who turned 27 on Saturday, was able to cruise away from pole sitter Jorge Lorenzo to win his 4th race of the season. And in the standings, Lorenzo, who won the title in 2010, now leads the standings by 33 points with just 4 races remaining. Who else was up until 4 a.m. watching the conclusion of the Ryder Cup? A phenomenal tournament, wasn't it? That's your lot for this week. You can get me on Twitter and keep up to date with sport during the week. At Tom Bushell UAE is where to find me. Next week on the show, we'll be having a look at what the new Manchester United soccer school in Dubai is offering. Have a great week. I'm Tom Bushell. Goodbye.